Well, hello there. Welcome back to the Suit Up Geek Fix channel. We are reviewing Obi-Wan Kenobi Part 4 of the Disney Plus series Star Wars show. My name's Lo from California. We got Dives from Philly, Sarah from San Diego, and Ryan from Colorado. This is a spoiler-filled review, so if you haven't watched the show yet, get on Disney Plus and watch it. We are reviewing Episode 4 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. How is everyone doing today? Let's start with our special guest, Sarah. How are you, Sarah?
Sarah,
you're muted.
Sarah, you're muted.
You're still muted.
Much better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Doing good. Still figuring out how to use technology and everything, so that's always good. But yeah, just a whirlwind of an episode. Loved it. It was a lot of water.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it. Dives, Ryan, I feel like it's been such a long time since I saw you guys. We still doing okay over there, guys?
No.
Man, I got my pretzels. I got a Tito's. My dog's right here. I got my ears. Ready to go.
And I've got my dwindling sanity, so.
Dives, I know you're sweating in that cap. That one's definitely a skull burner for sure. With that being said, though, we're on part 4. There's only 2 episodes left in the season. It's been a whirlwind of emotions, lots of highs, some little bit of lows. The internet obviously is terribly divided on this show, but regardless, I am having a good time. With that being said, let's go into our first impressions of this episode, part 4 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm gonna throw it down to you, Sarah. What were your just general impressions of the episode? Did you enjoy this one?
I did. I thought the imagery was really cool. I just like, I'm trying to figure out, like, I feel like everything that Reva says, I know we got in this the last time, like, it's just veiled and it has a double meaning. And it's like, I feel like I'm back in like Game of Thrones territory where it's like, I'm trying to figure out every single, like, to the letter what she's saying. And I'm like, I just need to just stop and just let it unfold and see what happens. But it's like, I want to solve it already. I feel like that's this big mystery. And I don't know, the imagery was really cool. When Vader showed up, he just was so angry. Like, Reva's just been manhandled so much by the dark side, between the fifth brother laying her out in the last episode and Vader just pulling her up like that. It just, and then Leia, that was a whole other thing. Like, that was some pretty intense imagery with little Leia. So like, yeah, it was intense.
Yeah, pre-stream, me and Dives actually were talking about this as well. Definitely feels like a filler episode in such a short series.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I actually really like this episode. It might be my second favorite of the series. Dives, what were your thoughts on this one?
Oh, no. I was hoping this moment wouldn't happen. I'm sorry. Got to start out. A quick shout out to Cal Kestis and one of my favorite video games of all time, Jedi Fallen Order. Really cool to see the Fortress Inquisitorius again. If you guys ever play that game, I think it's like one of the last levels. So that was really cool to kind of check that out. Again, other than that, I have to be honest, I was hoping for some more character work. There's so much rich territory for these characters, Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, Hayden Christensen, and this episode just wasn't it for me. There's just so much more this show can be exploring. Like you said, Lo, it's filler. If this season was 12 to 15 episodes, I'd be all for watching Obi-Wan go full Splinter Cell, and I'd be all in. But let's be real here. Like, this show promised a lot, and hopefully the next 2 are going to be longer. They're going to give us more Hayden, but we're 4 episodes in. We haven't really gotten any answers. They haven't really explained a lot. When we get to Reva's like small origin story, it's not long. We don't really know anything. So I feel we're 4 episodes in. I'm just kind of disappointed by episode 4 because episode 2 and 3 were so good that I just feel like wasted potential to really advance these characters, Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. and really provide real substance for these two. Other than Natalie Holt's score, which I thought was really strong this week, this was just a miss.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad you brought that up. I think that was my biggest complaint for this episode, that I actually liked no Hayden. Zero Hayden. And it's like Hayden was such a pull for a lot of fans, especially the diehard prequel fans, the fans that grew up with the prequels. It's like, where's Hayden? We saw him for like 2 seconds. So, Ryan, I know you're not super happy with this one either. What are your general thoughts, man?
I said this to Deebs before you guys joined, but I'm tired of watching the same fucking episode of Obi-Wan every week. It feels like the same problem just arises every single episode. Obi-Wan, he gets upset about what happened with Anakin in the third movie, episode 3, and then something happens to baby Leia. Once again, he has to go rescue her. He rescues her, and then she either gets taken, or she just, in this episode, just allows, or Obi-Wan allows her little droid to be taken on the ship after she's been taken by the big bads, which I just think is a stupid part on his role. I'm like, bro, you know she has this droid and you're telling me you don't think they're gonna tap this to try and track you? But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt under the circumstances under that. But I think the title of the show shouldn't be Obi-Wan, unfortunately. It should be Obi-Wan and Leia, or Leia and Obi-Wan, the adventures in between episodes 3 and 4. Because I think this isn't a Star Wars and Obi-Wan problem. This is a lot of prequel problems. And I feel like, in particular with this, with so many characters that you know their outcomes, especially after this season, it takes away a lot of, oh, is Obi-Wan going to keep saving baby Leia? Is he going to get baby Leia back to the Organas? And every episode, you're asking that same question. And it's sort of saying what Deeb said is, nothing really happens with these characters. You don't learn anything new. They don't progress in any character arc. And so you're kind of just stuck watching Obi-Wan looking for baby Leia for 4 episodes so far. And I think this one just bothers me because I think they just absolutely mismarketed this show. I think they marketed towards the Hayden Christensen fans, which I don't know why everyone was getting hyped in the first place. I'm like, he's just going to be in The Mask, and James Earl Jones is still alive, so they're probably just going to get him to voice it. And when you do see him physically, the dude's in so much fucking makeup, you don't even know that's a person. So to see them rely on having Hayden come back after all this time, when we've seen Darth Vader return multiple formats between episode 6 and now, I kind of feel like they're just trying to get us over high, or try to make us watch based off of our found love for the prequels that just came up in the past 5 years. And the Obi-Wan and Leia stuff when it's named Obi-Wan. And I feel like we should learn more about Obi-Wan because he's the character that dies in the next film chronologically. He dies in 10 years. Leia's still got another fucking 60. So I want to learn more about him than I want to do about a fucking 5-year-old. Sorry for my language. I just feel like they gated some people into this show to watch it.
No, I hear you, and I think that's like you're right. You're not wrong about prequel syndrome, especially when you know, like when the water thing was happening, they're gonna get out of that base, and so that was kind of that was another negative I had. But really quickly, I want to thank everybody who's watching the stream right now. Thanking everybody in the chat. I actually forgot about this part, Tyler. Thank you for bringing this up. Darth Vader got to have his angry manager moment in this episode. I forgot about that. That was pretty cool. And you did mention that too, Sarah. He lifted Reva up. I totally overlooked that. Christian's in the house. Hi, Christian. He said his love for the prequels has always been there. He's shouting out Hayden's supremacy. He's doing a great job. And I agree. The physicality he's bringing to the role is he's putting in the work. But personally, I'm not getting enough of him.
Hold on.
I hope we get more.
What does Hayden do that's so different than every other actor that's played Darth Vader? I'm sorry, but it just feels like Darth Vader, which isn't a negative. But when we're talking about the person who's behind it, what does Hayden Christensen bring? Because $5, they're probably paying more for him too than they would just a regular stand-in to wear the suit, especially if they're just going to dub over his lines. Oh no!
Well, I thought the back to tank scene, when they showed Obi in the back to tank, and they showed Vader, the parallels, and they showed. Yeah, I thought. I feel like you can just see the anger seeping through the screen from the time we saw him at the end of the first episode when his eyes open up in the back to tank, and you get that deep dark music playing. Like, you could just feel it. And of course, any actor could do that. But, like, you know, knowing that this is the guy that's been in 2 of the biggest movies in this franchise, it means a lot to a lot of people. And I think you could there's just an energy there. And when he was walking through that street in the last episode, and we just got, you know, the details of like this is an image we've seen so many times for almost 5 decades. We've seen this dude over and over. He's been memed, he's been gift. We've seen him dancing around with his lightsaber, like, you know. And so to see him like cold and hard and just nothing but black hatred and emptiness and suffering and feeding off it, you know, the show, I could understand like any frustration with it feeling like slow so far or like repetitive. I kind of like catch that vibe too. But I've just been super impressed by like how freaky he is in this show, and hearing that like James Earl Jones, it's just like, I don't know. So I could see how like it doesn't work for some people, but how it does for other people. And I don't know, you could just like feel him seething under that suit. It's just like, whew. It's like,
I agree with Ryan to the extent where there's not much hate in Christensen. I don't know if that's him or not, but I will say this show has done a terrific job cementing Darth Vader, you know, and showing us how he spread so much fear across the galaxy. Like, this is the first time in a while or ever we've truly seen Darth Vader unleashed in his prime. We got to see it in an amazing moment we'll be talking about in a little bit here in episode 4. But even like there was a moment where Obi-Wan and his team were talking about how to like slip into this Sith base. And even you saw Obi-Wan like kind of like, will Vader be there? Like, you could see the fear. You could feel the fear that is coming from Darth Vader for sure. And I think the show's doing a really good job of that. Do I want more? Absolutely. We're always going to circle back to that 6-episode thing. That's just
really quickly. Christian thinks we got just enough of Vader, and he thinks that knowing Hayden is in the suit is more than enough for him, as obviously he's a big fan. Tyler's saying he got Book of Boba Fett PTSD when Obi-Wan first went to the back to tank. I totally get that. I mean, at some point I did grow tired of the back to tank flashbacks, but Book of Boba Fett was still fun for me. With that being said, though, let's jump into our favorite moments of the episode. I'm gonna steal this one really quickly. Because no, Dibes, you're actually touching on something that I am enjoying here. I'm enjoying seeing a side of, like, it's not just cementing Vader as the scariest villain in the galaxy. It's also examining Obi-Wan's mental, and I like the fact that when he faced Darth Vader, he obviously was not ready. He obviously hasn't touched his lightsaber in 10 years. He's obviously out of touch with the Force. So I like that in this episode, he's looking at these stormtroopers like, all right, boys, like, I've been here before. I've fought in the Clone Wars. Let me get back into my mode here. He did a couple hilt flips. He did a couple, like, you know, Force.
Oh, yeah, he had the flair.
Yeah, he started getting some of his swagger back, and I was like, that's freaking Obi-Wan right there. Ewan McGregor still got it. So that was one of my favorite moments. I'm going to throw this to Rye. I know you weren't enjoying this so far, but there's got to be something you liked, right?
I mean, it's going to be obviously the Vader stuff, because I think it was Sarah that said it, that Darth Vader, they're just improving on him as a villain. And they do nothing but make him super menacing. And I think that's great. Christian said they use him very sparingly. And that's for a reason, because I feel like he's a very in the shadows type of villain. And when he comes out, you know that it's for a serious reason. And I think what we got in this scene is something that I've wanted to see a little bit more within this Vader, a little bit more angsty, more emotional Vader, who's reacting more off his emotions rather than his actual authoritative figure, because he'd rather kill Obi-Wan than serve the Empire. And I wish they showed him be a little bit sloppier, especially within the third episode when they try to convince me that they all thought Obi-Wan was dead, where I'm like, bro, you just saw someone walk right in front of you and grab him. But that's besides the point. So obviously the Vader scene, just him storming in with his, you're just like, oh, yep, he's gonna go fuck someone up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were gonna pull a Snoke and just kill Reva right there. I was like, oh my god.
They should have. They should have.
Tyler's saying how Obi-Wan got his groove back. You're always bringing down the house with your comments, Tyler. Thank you. What's up to Eek? Eek said their favorite moment was seeing the snow speeders. What about you, Dibes? What were some of your favorite moments from this episode?
Yeah, it's when that rageful Vader comes out and just wrecks house. That was really cool. Just hearing like Vader just pissed and how loud he can get and how quickly he can move, man. Just I've been wanting that kind of Vader my whole life. I'm just grateful the character's like finally we're getting that emphasized here. Finally. So that's definitely number one. And then of course seeing a level I've played in Jedi Fallen Order was pretty freaking cool. I do have some problems that I probably will talk about later. But those are my top two.
Hey, no worries. And really quickly, I want to shout out Indira Varma. I'm not hella familiar with her.
Yeah.
She played Tala, and look, I know some people could care less about Cassian Andor, but this is why I'm excited for Andor, because I love seeing this like political spy intrigue, like her infiltrating the Empire, and she's
the rebellion.
A rebel. Yes, I'm loving this side of the rebellion. We didn't see it enough in the original trilogy. We know the rebels and they're fighting for good, but it's the inner workings and like the hard work that's being ground here. I love it. What about you though, Sarah? What were some of your favorite moments from the episode?
I would say, God, I don't know if I could say favorite, but like some of the most impactful was like when Obi-Wan found the tomb of all the Jedi down there. Like I saw a tweet like a couple weeks ago. Somebody had said like they thought that the Inquisitors had like the sabers and helmets of like the former younglings or whatever that they had taken, and I was like, that's pretty dark. Like that's pretty effed up. And then the last one, you know what I mean? When they showed the last, like, I don't even want to like, when they showed the child at the end, that was like, it was just a lot. Like, it was a lot. It was like, Jesus, like, wow, I need to like go cleanse myself after this, because that was just a heavy moment. And then everything Leia was going through, how it just went darker, it made me like think about like child actors, like they go through it, man. Like, could you imagine, like, as safe as this kid probably was on the set, how trippy and scary and gnarly that would be to be put in that whole setup? And like, I know the cutting and the editing and everything, makes it look gnarlier, but like, she just, I don't know, she did great. I know if you're tired of Leia, at least she's a fun Leia, like kid actors can be, they go back and forth, you know what I mean? Like whether or not, it's got to be hard out there to be a kid and to be acting. And so she's just killing it. But like real quick, like I wonder if, like, we know Vader, Anakin wants to kill Obi-Wan, right? That's just obvious. He has to do that. But like, do you think Palpatine has like just really been in his ear? I don't care if we see Palpatine or not, but like, that's Anakin's last tie to the light, to, outside of his kids, which he doesn't know exist. He has no idea that they're even out there. It's just Obi-Wan, and it's like, I've seen a comic panel of where Vader brings up Padme. He says something like, you told me Padme was dead, and Palpatine is like, I don't give a shit what I told you. And he just like lightning zaps him and like blows up all of his components, and just like, so like, I don't know, to like, you saw Kylo Ren had to kill, Han Solo to really cross over to the dark side, whatever, and it's like, that's the Sith way. You have to like cut out any last part of you that touched the light, and that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that struggle in the back to tank when you saw both of them wrestling, that was a claustrophobic moment for sure. But just seeing like Obi didn't want to kill Anakin, and I think Anakin never wanted to kill Obi, and it's like now they're just like, damn it, look what we have to do now. Like, we're just gonna have to keep doing this until it's over, and we know it's not over for another like decade and a half. Like, they still have a decade and a half of back and forth, if there is back and forth, but like, I don't know. And sorry, last thing, I thought they were going to leave it with Leia thinking that Obi was dead. I was like, if this poor child thinks that Obi-Wan Kenobi is dead until Luke Skywalker shows up to save her, and she's like, Ben Kenobi, where's he at? It's like that moment right there. I was like, oh, that would be awful, but they didn't do that. So it was a dark enough episode, so I'm glad.
That's a fantastic point, Sarah. I'm really glad you touched on that. And that's what's kind of frustrating about the premise of this series at all. As much as I'm so happy to see Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen back playing off each other, it's like, it just made you wonder, like, there's a lot of drama here that gets deflated by the fact that we know Obi-Wan's going to make it through this, and then they're going to meet each other on the Death Star in A New Hope. So that it kind of takes some of the thunder away from this dramatic moment we're having, but I also love seeing it though. So it's a little bit of like a double-edged sword, so to say.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dubs.
Just real Clone Wars nod. That the dude that was in one of those tanks in the tomb was one of the guys, one of the old masters in the Clone Wars episode who helped Ahsoka track down her lightsaber. So little shout out there.
Dude, no, wait a minute. Was that the librarian?
I don't even remember, to be honest.
It's so sad. It's also sad.
No, I was gonna say, Dives. I love that episode, and it's a random filler episode when she loses the lightsaber.
Anakin's in it.
That just tore my heart out. But really quick, I want to say what's up to Daniel Barrios. Thanks for joining us. He knows this should have been a 2.5 movie, but he's actually loving the show. I'm glad you like it, man. Look at this. Christian saying, like, he's touching on what you're saying, Sarah. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka are Vader's North Star. So that's like,
I forgot Ahsoka's still out there. Yeah, duh.
Right. So those are those two clinging moments of his former life and his light, like you were saying. It's very interesting.
My problem with like that is like,
shout out to the Purge troopers that showed up though. That was pretty cool.
That was cool too. Yes. Yeah.
I've got the shoulder pad. It's my kid's Halloween costume. Not mine.
Nice.
Anybody else like confused? Like, I thought Vader let Obi-Wan leave to track him, but we didn't really get that in this next episode. Was anybody else confused by that?
I was confused at something else in regards to Leia knowing her father, because she tells Reeve, I want to talk to my father, and I'm very confused.
It's a veiled line.
Bail. She definitely meant bail. So
yeah, and I'm confused because what?
That's what I thought.
What's the point of tracking them when they already know where they live?
Oh, hey, I saw something on Twitter that there was like a big battle on Jubilee. I don't know where in the timeline, but like it, like apparently it was like devastating, and most of the people there like died and got blown up or whatever. So, if the tracker's in Lola on the ship and they're taking the ship back to Jubilee, where the rebellion's all at, if the dark side comes at them, then that might happen. They might all go boom. There might be, maybe we might get like some big ass battle in the next episode. Maybe they're going to build up to like a movie style last two parts. I don't know. That's my
I mean, I'm pretty sure the EP said that they were going to have that duel at some point in this show. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be in the final episode. And if it's not like level 3 Mustafar battle type level, like, I don't want it. If it's not that, the show's just a bust in total. I'm sorry.
But like,
sorry.
What like Vader and everybody should know that they're from Alderaan, right? Like, that's common knowledge. Like, why wouldn't they take Leia back home to Alderaan?
Yeah, they shouldn't be treating an imperial senator's daughter like this.
I don't get it.
But I don't know. Maybe maybe they don't give a crap anymore. I don't know. Who even knows?
See, now, you know what, guys? I think this whole, like, speculation that we're doing right now, I think that is what this series is kind of... These are the kind of problems we're having with the way they're writing this and the way they're trying to piece it together. Go ahead, Debs.
I also had a problem with Vader getting pissed at Reva for Reva screwing up her plans and letting them escape when Vader did the same goddamn thing the previous episode. Come on, man.
Anakin Skywalker is a hypocrite. Anakin Skywalker, first and foremost, is a hypocrite.
Exactly, sir.
Well, to be fair, Dibes,
Don't do it like
and let's go into grades after this. But just to be fair, Dibes, I thought it was cool. I thought Vader let him go. So the fact that, like you said, like he's choking her out. Oh, you let him go. It's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. They wrote themselves into a hole there. So
you see, I think that's where they could play with his young angst of his tenure so far as Darth Vader, is him fighting it within him, is knowing what he has to do, the back and forth with Obi-Wan, is he knows he has to kill him, but he doesn't want to kill him. He's trying to make other people kill him, and I think that might be why he's mad at Reva, is because he doesn't have the strength within himself to kill it, that he was hoping she would just fucking do it. But she's playing things out so long that I think he's just going to keep getting angrier and angrier. And I hope that happens, but I feel like I'm giving the writers too much credit here.
I know, you never want to make the mistake of
giving
them too much credit. It's just so hard. After Game of Thrones, like, it's traumatizing to even speculate or theorize on anything ever.
I would have loved, and I love this comment from Daniel saying that, you know, with Qui-Gon and his ghost, like they've been building this up, and I would have like way much more preferred episode 4, like being the episode where we get so much character development with Obi-Wan talking to Qui-Gon and, like, you know, going through all that trauma and PTSD and all that kind of stuff. I would have been way more happier with that.
So Daniel says that Obi-Wan's in no shape to take Vader in this show, right?
That's correct.
I beg to differ. He's in no shape to take Vader in episode 4. He's a bag of jelly beans, and Vader's like 40. This motherfucker's got another 10 years of experience, and he's a bag of jelly beans. So the fact that he almost beat Vader, he's got the one spin move, and he used it, and it almost worked. And
then he went like this. Peace out. Like, you can deal with your kids now. There's your twins. Have at them. Have fun, buddy. I've been watching them for 2 decades. Chasing after your daughter, dealing with your stepbrother who doesn't like me. Like,
so many
in the sands of Tatooine.
So with all that being said, guys, let's kind of round this up. We'll get into theories and predictions in a second. I'm going to give it a quick grade. I'll be honest, like, I admit how, like, sloppy things are starting to get right now, but regardless, I did have fun kind of just going along with the ride here. I liked the big rescue. I liked Tala's espionage, full on the security guard getting into the base and all that stuff. That was really fun. I liked how, you know, we're in this, like, magical Star Wars galaxy, but for some reason, they have a handheld communicator that just speaks out loudly, and this is something we've seen in New Hope, and it makes you wonder, they couldn't get better communicators, right? But with that being said, I'll give this episode like a 6.8. It wasn't the best episode of this series, but it wasn't terrible by any means. I was still enjoying what we saw. Ryan, really quick, man, what are your grades for the episode?
I'm gonna give it a 6. I think coming off of that 3rd episode, especially ending the way it did, it was hard to reach that standard, I guess you can say. But I feel like this is the 4th episode, and this is really where they had to start showing the direction of character arcs and characters, regardless if they die or not. And I just feel like it's just been a rinse and repeat of the last 2 episodes. And ultimately, I love seeing Obi-Wan. Ian McGregor's great, but there's really not, they're not offering much with this show, and definitely not offering much within this episode for, I could be wrong, for the Star Wars fan base, but who knows? I think they have like a 5-year plan for this show or something, a few-year plan, few seasons, or it leads up into episode 4, but I don't know. 2 episodes, seeing how Marvel's been doing with their 6-episode run, seeing the Book of Boba Fett with their 7-episode run, and seeing where this show is within 4 episodes, I'm not very optimistic that this is really going to satisfy too many people.
Yeah. What about you, Dives? I know you didn't love this episode either, man. What's your grade?
Yeah, the show seems to like kind of be at odds with itself and its continuity, and maybe it's the writing. I don't know. Probably. Yeah, I can't get around the fact that I'm just scared that there's just so much there to wrap up in just 2 episodes. I could have sworn they promised us like an hour every episode. This was like 30 freaking minutes long.
Yeah,
30 minutes. It was really quick, man. And I think we didn't really get any significant development with any of the characters other than like Obi-Wan opening up his lightsaber in the dark, which was pretty badass.
That was awesome.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. I like Vader's rage. Outside of that, you know, we're heading into the 5th episode and we still haven't even gotten my helicopter lightsabers, and it's just like, come on, man, come on, Deborah. Like, it's probably going to be so epic, and I'm going to like shut up when it happens. But for me, like,
yeah,
there was not any joy or excitement in this episode for me, and this is definitely the worst of the season so far. I'll give it a 6.
So Tyler says Ice Cube's son hyped up this role and didn't do much of anything. I gotta admit, I liked Sarah's theory about him being Quinlan Vos. I was kind of heartbroken it didn't happen. that would have been awesome if he was Quinlan Vos. So that was a bummer. Oh. But I love O'Shea Jackson. Don't get me wrong. I think he's great. Yeah. It's just, his role wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Oh, and rest in peace, Wade. Cheers.
Oh, Wade. Oh,
you'll be sorely missed.
I liked how they showed like the importance of like losing somebody. It's so often you see the pew-pews and the blasting and stuff. It was, as much as Wade at the beginning, I like looked at my sister and I was like, God damn it, Wade. Come on, Wade. Right? They were giving him that energy and I was like, freaking Wade, man. And then when we lost him at the end, I was like, I'm kind of sad Wade's gone. I didn't even know him, but I like that they did that.
His tombstone will say like 3 a.m. to like 3:25 a.m.
So that being said, I want to preface the theories and predictions with just this feeling like I trust Deborah Chow. I thought she kicked it off really well, and I liked where we got with part 3, I should say, but I gotta wonder, how is this gonna be emotionally satisfying after 6 episodes? Like, I don't know what the big finale is gonna be. Maybe we'll be surprised. I'm gonna put my faith in Deborah Chow, but I'm worried at this point. Like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna feel good when 6 ends and I'm gonna be like, hey, that was awesome. I'm not sure if we'll get there, but let's dive into theories and predictions. Sarah, where do you think we're heading? I know you mentioned that big battle. Do you think we're gonna get that in the next episode?
I hope so. Like, I mean, outside of just like a one-on-one, I would like to see, in Rogue One, we had the battle on Scarif, right? The beach. Is that what the beach place is called?
Yeah.
Scarif. Okay.
Yeah, Scarif. Love that planet.
Shout out to the good girls in Star Wars looking super hot in the bad guys' outfits, because Tala, like, she's beautiful. Yes. But man, when she got dressed the second time, she was like, I'm going to show Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, what I've been up to over the last few years. And like, woo, she just looks so good. And I think even he was like, I can pull myself out of my trauma for a little bit and just appreciate a good looking lady. So I thought that was a nice little touch. And then just the sweetness of him holding Leia's hand at the end. I hope somebody feeds her. That's my prediction. Like, my prediction is in the next episode, somebody gives Leia a snack, because this kid is 10 years old and they've made her hike on Mapuza. She went through the Blade Runner town where she almost fell. Like,
she's
this
been
poor
through a lot.
kid has been through a lot. And then she almost got, freaking, what's the movie with the eyeball? Clockwork. She almost got Clockwork Orange on that chair, So it's like, the kid has been through a lot. I just want her to go home, to get home. You know what I mean? And then just see kind of what I'm very interested to see how Obi sets himself back up on Tatooine after this kind of revitalized, getting out of the mundane, day-to-day, not a Jedi. In one of the comics, he says it was really hard to become a Jedi, but it was even harder to stop being one. So with this little, taste again, this little, got the spinny moves where, he used the energy of the water at them, you know what I mean? I thought that was cool. So I think we'll get Qui-Gon, we'll get him feeling and trusting the Force again. And, get hopeful, because he was sad. He's like, there's no good people, Leia. And I was like, jeez.
Yeah, he lost his
Snickers,
faith
buddy.
in the universe. And I love that, Sarah, you put it on your mama bear cape real quick. Like, protect Vivian Lyra Blair at all costs. Daniel Barrios says he definitely thinks there's a rise of the rebellion featuring Obi-Wan here. He's handling the regret and channeling into becoming part of the path in Tatooine. You know what? If that's the final shot of the series, I'll feel better about it. But again, I'm getting really worried about where we're going. But what about Rye or Dibes? You guys got some theories for us? Any predictions of where we're heading?
Yeah, I got one with the way it's gonna end. We know they're gonna go back to that awesome epic fight. They're gonna get that moment. And I think in the last episode, we're going to get that Qui-Gon Jinn cameo at some point, because I wouldn't have said this 2 weeks ago, because I'm pretty sure like a week ago they confirmed that Liam Neeson was coming back for like an animated project or something with
Tales of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi, that's it. So once that was confirmed, I'm like, there's no way they're not getting him for this, especially after saying his name in multiple episodes at this point. So I think he's going to find the Force within Qui-Gon Jinn and talk to his master to find it within him to fight Vader in the last episode. And then that's when we're going to get that final fight. But the thing about this fight that's really just going to hinder it for me is we know the outcome is nothing's going to happen tremendously where they're going to die. But I see it one of two ways. Either Vader's going to beat Obi-Wan into like pretty much submission and just keeping him off lay the lands for the next 10 and a half years, or it's just going to end in a stalemate and Obi-Wan just hides again.
Yeah, so, man. And you know,
high
right?
Ground prediction's good.
Me and Daniel, we were actually talking on Twitter, and the recap that starts the series is really cool. It recaps almost the whole Obi-Wan journey through the prequels, and they did focus on the fact that Yoda mentioned training for you. I have your old master Qui-Gon, and I think they wouldn't have mentioned that for no reason. If they easily could have cut that out of the recap. So, what about you, Dives, man? I know you're the theory guy. I mean, where are we heading? Where are we going, man?
All right, so episode 5 will be the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon episode. It'll be them just hashing it up. Excuse me. It'll be, I think, Grand Inquisitor coming back and most likely getting Reva banned from the Sith. There'll probably be, I think we're going to learn a lot about Reva in the next episode, and we'll probably see her get banished. And then episode 6, we'll probably see some sort of fight between Obi-Wan and Reva, and Obi-Wan will probably kick her ass, and then Darth Vader will come in, and Obi-Wan and Vader will fight, and then somehow Reva will then attack Vader, and then, because ultimately Reva wants to kill Vader. That is her number one priority. She wants to take that spot. That's how the Sith believe. And we talked about this last episode. I'm not going to go into why, but Reva's going to fail. Vader's going to probably kill Reva or something, or Reva maybe saves Obi-Wan, something along those lines. And then I think we'll probably get a pretty badass fight, but it'll probably end with maybe Vader thinking that Obi-Wan Kenobi's dead, and that'll probably be the end of the series.
But see, Deebs, if it ends like that, I feel like it would just retract at that point because they've already done it this season. Why, personally, like if you want Darth Vader to be this big bad, you've already know that he's not died once when you believed him. So why would you believe it again? So I hope that it kind of ends where they get a stalemate, and then the next 10 years he's in hiding because Darth Vader knows he's alive now. He's actively searching. That's what I hope we get, because I feel like it adds more tension in that aspect. But yet again, I feel like I'm giving the writers too much credit.
You know what else, guys?
You can definitely see the connection between the two of them. Sorry, like just ignited, like that's like a huge light switch, just like for the both of them.
And I think that's the thing that's really carrying the show right now, and that's really what's making it its best form currently. Is you see everything they've been through the 3 previous movies, through the Clone Wars, and I think they do what they needed to do best, and was to capture that love-hate relationship between Anakin, Vader, and Obi-Wan. And it goes back to the opening of this first episode of them in the tanks and going back and forth, to showing the parallel of them getting angrier as the thought arises of the fight of them both technically losing.
Yeah, so what do we want to see? Do we want to see Obi-Wan beat Vader, or do we want to see Vader beat Obi-Wan? Just real quick, I want to hear what everyone
naturally thinks. It seems like Vader should just beat him, especially we know he's not going to die, so just have Vader beat him, have them be evenly matched, and then I feel like if you watch episode 4 at that point, it makes the second rematch or the third rematch the final one where they're 1-1. Vader kills Obi-Wan, and it's a definite 2-1 at that point.
I definitely think Obi-Wan's going to win, and it'll be some stupid, like he finds like it'll be like Vader's crushing him, and then Obi-Wan will find like one little loophole and do his little spin move,
an Achilles heel.
Yeah, he'll find some way, and then that'll just he's not going to kill Vader, of course, but he's gonna scar him, and it's gonna just even further rage Vader moving forward.
It's gonna further rage him.
I don't know. I'm just speaking out loud.
I love it.
So you guys know this. I'm not really a theory guy, but I'm gonna call my shot on this one. And I forgot.
Yeah.
We haven't really brought this up yet. I think at some point, maybe in episode 6 or whatever, part 6, whatever it's gonna be, the Grand Inquisitor is gonna come out of nowhere and take Reva out himself as payback, and then we're gonna see him carry on Rebels. But that's just a feeling. You know, obviously he's not gone yet, as it was implied in that episode where he got stabbed.
He's coming back.
So.
Grand Inquisitor.
He's gonna come back, and I think he's gonna take her out. So
I hope he does.
We'll
just
see.
kill her. She's not an interesting character.
I can disagree. I think she is interesting. We just haven't seen it yet.
Do you guys think that like Qui-Gon hasn't been communicating with Obi because wherever he's at in Force Ghost Land, like he's watching Anakin too? Like he's not just like watching over Obi-Wan out there as this guardian angel. Like he took on 2 apprentices. He's the one that brought Anakin into this stuff and advocated for him, and Obi-Wan put his Padawan shit to the side and was like, I'm ready for the trials. Like he can, do what he wants with this little weird kid, I guess, for sure. But like I'm just wondering if like what is Qui-Gon gonna have to say to Obi about Anakin, because I have no idea, and it's gonna have to be really nuanced, and it's gonna have to be really well written, because Qui-Gon found Anakin, and that's like, I don't know. I wonder if it weighs on his ghost consciousness.
It has to.
Everything,
It has to, because what makes Qui-Gon so special is like he wasn't full blown Jedi. Like that's where, Anakin kind of got some of it too, I think. Like, Qui-Gon was a father figure. He was a guy that believed in fighting for what you believe in, even if it's not like the Jedi way. Like, yeah, like there was a lot of things in Qui-Gon that Anakin had growing up as well. He was not afraid to speak his mind. And that was like his death was harder probably for Anakin than it was for Obi-Wan, if that makes sense. Because that death scene, I mean, that was huge for Anakin, pretty much like from a young age, evolving into what he is now. So for me, I think that's gotta weigh on him watching, Anakin and Obi-Wan go at it with this. So that's like we're talking about these things. I want that. I want that. Like that sounds so fun.
It's so sad. It's all so sad. This is like the most tragic tale in the galaxy. It's so
Damn.
good.
You know, now that you guys are bringing Qui-Gon up and his his lifestyle and his beliefs, it reminds me of Dave Filoni's thoughts on the Duel of the Fates. I don't know if you guys have seen that
That's
excerpt
exactly
of Dave
what I was
Filoni.
referring to. Yeah.
Yeah, so Dave Filoni was talking about how Darth Maul killing Qui-Gon was literally the Sith winning because they were fighting for the fate of Anakin. And if Qui-Gon doesn't die, he probably would have guided Anakin on a better path than the route he went. So I thought that was really interesting. Shouts out Dave Filoni.
The
I
man.
don't have too much.
The
what was that?
Italian cowboy.
Oh. Hell yeah. So I don't have too much else for you guys, but I was actually going to say, like, before we get out of here, you know, Star Wars TV-wise, Disney Plus-wise, has been very notorious for surprising us with, like, cameos and
Yeah.
like, oh my god moments. Do you guys think we're going to get one in either of these two episodes? I mean, what do we think?
I'll let everyone else go first.
Do you think we're still gonna get Quinlan Voss?
Yeah.
I think the mention was enough, right? Because I think
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's was like, oh, Quinlan, right? Like,
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. I guess tinfoil like hat person who could show up. Like, oh god, where are we even in this timeline? I mean, I don't think it would make sense for Ahsoka to pop up.
Oh,
then that
man.
would be so memey. I'm just glad Obi-Wan was in this episode because I think it was episode 4 of Boba Fett that Boba Fett was not in that episode except for like the very end. So he was still there for that. So that was good. But like, I don't know. Who's still alive? No, I don't know. I have no idea.
I think it's a really good bet that we're going to get Tarkin at some point.
Oh, I hope so.
I think Tarkin is a really good bet.
I was
My God.
hoping we would get Tarkin and Leia in this episode because she recognized his foul stench in A New Hope. So it just sounds like, you know, not just a bratty line. It sounds like it could be, you know, veiled in something else as like meeting before. So but that didn't happen. Unless they take her back. Unless we go back and forth again and like the dark side gets Leia back again and then Obi's got to save her again. So we'll see. Hopefully not.
No.
I love the idea of like the beginning stages of Fulcrum starting. Like that would be really fun, for me at least.
And as much as it probably won't excite anybody but me, I'm holding out hope we see like a young Cassian Andor or something. 'Cause, I mean,
Yes.
we've been seeing all these little factions of rebels. You know, maybe
What
we
about
get
Kanan?
Even Mon
Not Kanan.
Mothra. We might even get to see. We could see a little Mon Mothra. We might see the Galactic. Well, hold on. The number one person I want to see first and foremost. I will bow down. I want to see Sheev effing Palpatine of Naboo. I want to see the Emperor. I want to see Darth Sidious. If he doesn't show up, I'll live. But if they
That's gotta
do,
happen.
I'm gonna squeal like a little girl because when I was a kid, Darth Vader was so cool and so scary, but it was like, but why does he work for this guy? And then it was just like, you know, I don't know. He's just the most literal, insidious character that has ever existed in fiction. And I just would love to see him. Ian McDiarmid just is so delicious in that role. So that would be. I want to see him be mean to Darth Vader. I want to see somebody be mean to Darth Vader. He needs.
I would be shocked if that's not like one of two of the last scenes of this series. I'd be shocked if Palpatine's not in that.
All right,
Give
guys.
us
Do we have
Sheev.
anything else regarding the series so far?
What's that?
Do we have anything else regarding the series so far?
No, I'm excited for the last two. They've got a lot of ground to cover, a lot of ground, and that's good and bad. So I'm nervous as much as I am excited.
And you know, like being as someone that's such a big Clone Wars fan, I'm still fingers crossed for a flashback. You know, give me live action Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and Hayden together. You know,
in the armor or
my
something.
God.
in the
Yeah,
Clone Wars
oh my
armor.
God.
God,
Oh my
I'll
god!
forgive anything and everything in this series just to have
I'll cry.
that.
I'll
Bro,
cry.
that's their Avengers moment right there.
Right.
They don't know
Right.
it
Oh
yet.
my God,
they don't
that
even
would
know
be-
it. They don't even know it yet. That's their Avengers moment.
Yeah, they probably don't know it, but man, the
Twitter
fans
would die
will-
that day. If that happened,
Exactly.
like Twitter would literally just shut down. Like there would just be
Twitter would
nobody
break.
would be able to.
I'd be
It
so
might,
happy.
I'm argue to say it might be bigger than the Luke moment because that almost broke the internet. So, with that being said, I think we pretty much covered everything we needed to. Good or bad, I'm still having fun with it. It's great to see Ewan McGregor back, regardless of the quality of his arc right now. But with that being said, thank you again to our special guest Sarah. What you got going on? You working on anything new right now? And where can people find you?
I have been just doing podcast episodes for Obi-Wan Kenobi, getting ready once we're done here. Gonna record my episode for part 4, and you can find me on Twitter at Sarah Palpatine, or you can find me on TikTok at Sarah Palpatine. That's it.
Awesome. It's always a pleasure to have you on. I just want to thank everybody in the chat. It was very, very active today. Thank you, everybody that's watching. We're going to have a brand new episode of Roundup, which is our Suit Up Geek Fix news sort of show this Sunday. But other than that, it's been a very busy media-filled day. Follow us on Twitter at the Suit Up Geeks. Follow our Instagram. Follow Ryan at Just Ryan again. Follow Dives at Mr. Crockpot and myself at Marcellus Durden on Twitter. We're always happy to talk shop and talk Star Wars and Marvel and all the fun stuff. So for Sarah, for Ryan, for Dives, thank you everyone for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you.